and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. Remember that if you want to be a part of our tech conversation, it is SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's newsnetwork@sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you if you think it's a good idea for Facebook to include African languages in the verification of fake news. Results of that are coming up later in the program. But here's what's coming up tonight. Google has launched a program to train school kids with tech skills. We track animals in the wild using technology. And our discussion is looking at IoT and VR for kids and teachers. CS First is a program that aims to equip South African learners with the fundamentals of computer science. This is a Google initiative.
For kids coming into an increasingly software-driven world, learning to program is a crucial skill that sets them up for future success. But access to training resources is not readily available for everyone. To address this gap, Google launched a new online educational resource aimed at equipping learners with the fundamentals of computer science.
We are looking at preparing populations for what here in South Africa we call the fourth industrial revolution. And so we sat back and said, what are the sort of skills that will be required for this? There is quite a lot of talk, it's a buzzword now about jobs of the future, the fourth industrial revolution, but really when you look at it, it's just a momentum shift in the way that a society organizes.
The resource offers interactive coursework designed to help school kids learn computer science through hands-on activities and lessons.
CS First is based on programming language that was developed by Stanford University called Scratch. It's really a blocks-based coding language. What we do is get the kids in front of a computer screen and teach them to create things. So around thematic area, it could be music, it could be developing games, it could be developing apps or fashion or all of those things. So they actually go through the whole curriculum to actually be able to create apps and programs using this language.
Working with government, Google first introduced the project in 2016, piloting it across 3 provinces: Gauteng, Eastern Cape and Western Cape. In the Western Cape, Google partnered with the Cape Town Science Centre.
In our engagement with the CS First program is where we encourage the organizations or the partners that have been selected to roll out these activities in the schools is to help the kids in terms of learning them how to code. When we talk about fourth industrial revolution, we talk about preparing these kids for the future, preparing them now already so that they don't get exposed only when they're in university, there's something called coding. But the skills that they learn through coding are skills that they will need in the future.
If you look at what Google has done, they looked at the National Development Plan. They looked at a pillar that speaks to them of partnering with government and creating work opportunities for our people. But not only that, ensuring that they are skilling and equipping our people accordingly. And if you look at what our department is focusing on, especially in the area of fourth industrial revolution, we're saying what will the future of work look like? And there are studies that are saying in 2030 we will not be knowing what kind of job is relevant.
The program aims to train more than 30,000 learners across 9 provinces in the space of a year.
There's often a worry that this tech era is going to leave many behind, with those who have access already going further ahead, while kids in the townships and rural communities struggle to catch up. So there are 2 young people who are now using robot technology to help township kids.
We have 2 hubbers, Sibu and Jabu. They both work in their own ways with technology. Jabu has a software company, so he creates software solutions, and that goes on a broad range. And why we brought him in for this evening is because he also works on a software solution that helps to helps parents and school children to connect over their homework. So it's basically an app and a platform where the kids upload their homework and the teachers can look at it and the parents can look at it.
In class, when a teacher gives a homework, they send an email and an SMS to a parent. So a parent will know the homework that the child is getting in class at that time in real time. That's one. So that the parent can climatize himself or herself in knowing what to expect when they get home, and then they will help the child at home. And when they get home, they actually talk about the homework, because in some cases parents have gone through the syllabus that the kids are going through, and for progress and for good results.
We have Sibu, who does something very interesting. He has created a publishing company which publishes science fiction comics. But what he does is basically tries to teach children through storytelling about science and robotics. So he basically brings together kids that then will be able to read about science fiction stories and then actually try and bring these stories together in a robotics project.
The problem with our education system, they're always focusing on passing your final year exam. They're not teaching kids anything. They're not really care how kids are learning today. Kids already have smartphones, they're already on the internet, they're learning everywhere. But the school is still focusing on this textbook style of learning. And they're missing, a lot of kids are falling out of the system because of that. They're not engaged. So what we try to do is try to engage them on those platforms and really try to get them involved and learning. So you don't have to be a straight A student to be part of this fourth industrial space. That's what we believe.
Recently, I went to Mkhuze on the north coast of KwaZulu-Natal. There, Isimangaliso uses new technologies to track animals. This also helps in keeping poachers at bay. There's a cheetah here. We can't see it, but this device can pick it up. It shows that it's moving up and down in the bush just in front of us. I can't say I'm not nervous.
So it's moving signal, which tells us she has some sort of movement with her collar. The collar is picking up movement. So it's either that she's walking or feeding or just lying around and playing and something like that. It most likely is in this case is that they caught something maybe and is busy feeding and that collar is moving. So and it's not staying at one spot, so we get a moving signal, whereas if she was walking, your time or your position would change, so the telemetry would show you she's going in another direction, which she isn't.
We were hoping it would come out, but in the end it didn't. Belts with chips in them are placed around necks of wild animals here in Mkhuze. Isimangaliso says this is to track them easily.
The device is a telemetry. So the telemetry has three main components. You have the receiver, that's the little box where you put in your frequencies. I'll tell you more about that. The cable, and then the antenna. So altogether it's called your telemetry. And then all the animals we have collars on their necks, and each collar has a frequency. And this frequency is then entered into this receiver. And this receiver, you go to the specific animal. In this case, we have a cheetah that's called MCF16 with a frequency, and then you turn up the gain. That's the information that comes in, and you follow that beeps that come in until you have an exact spot to where she is.
Isimangaliso has all sorts of wild animals in its game parks in St. Lucia and Mkhuze on the KwaZulu-Natal north coast.
Since this place is now a protected area, they will come and see all this in terms of this being of them doing game drives and the like, and doing water-based activities like the boat cruises to see these animals and the vegetation and all the natural things that we have here and the different ecosystems that we have in this place.
As poachers are often looking for animal horns, Isimangaliso now dehorns rhinos and places belts with chips on them as well.
We still live in an age where poaching is a real thing. So, for example, if they are snared and we didn't get to them first and maybe a poacher did, they would remove the collar because they know you can track them with it. So we would cut off the collar, and then you would either get there and you would see the collar, or the collar would have been moved to a place and you followed until they throw it away somewhere or bury it or something like that.
The use of new tech is all in an effort to save our animals and preserve this part of nature for the next generation. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat about IoT and VR technologies and how kids and teachers are trained to use them. This conversation is with Ibrahim Asmal from the DUT IoT Lab. Stay with us.
The SABC News mobile app is your one-stop digital portal to all the news you need. Stay connected with the latest in breaking news. Watch the SABC News channel along with clips and live streams of all the big news events. And listen to all the SABC News radio stations live, including podcasts and much more. Simply download the SABC News app to your Android or iOS device from either the Play Store or the App Store. SABC News, independent, impartial.
If you are attacking the state, that can be viewed as terrorism. It doesn't matter who attacks the police, as long as someone attacks the police, that cannot be tolerated.
The police have a right to conduct their jobs, but it should always be under the confines of the law.
Even the people that were arrested on the time in CVP, you only find their nationality as you process them.
We're not going to leave this court unless our people are released. We are not scared to sacrifice our last cent just to build African unity.
7 people were arrested for public violence and looting of the shops.
We hear that they are doing this in retaliation against what happened in downtown Johannesburg.
We therefore wish to officially ask all South African businesses should leave Nigeria with all their businesses. Nigerian students are not joking about it.
So not one single ambassador called me because they understood that that was wrong.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back. The Durban University of Technology has a relatively new IoT lab. They've opened it up to members of the public and school learners so they can learn about what the Internet of Things does, what VR technology is, and how to fly drones. I paid them a visit recently.
It mostly started with the whole thing of fourth industrial revolution coming up and whatnot, and knowing that South Africa hasn't really caught up with what's going on around the world, we wanted to catch up our youth and our youngsters to have that feeling of, I know what's going on in the country, I know what's going on in the world, I know what's going on technology-wise.
From where I came from, I've never had that support from teachers and stuff until I met Mr. Asma. And he actually made me have that drive to teach other people because of the way he interacted with us in class and stuff like that. And I really liked, from small, I've always liked to help people, and I found this was the best way for me as an individual to help our community and stuff like that, and educate our kids of the younger generations to be better and to do better for themselves as well.
Tech is taking over, and if you don't want to be left behind in the future.
We are coding, we are connecting things with wires, and we are, talking to and making robots and things.
We are playing with breadboards, and we are connecting different wires, and we're playing with buzzers and LEDs, and it's very interesting because you learn about different types of coding, and I actually got to code today, and it's really interesting, and I'm sure I'll benefit from this in the future.
We are learning about the Internet of Things, which is this guy over there is teaching us about buzzers and how to program stuff on this thing called a breadboard.
The head of the DUT IoT Lab is Ibrahim Asmal. I had a chat with him recently. Ibrahim Asmal, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if you can start by telling us about the purpose of your VR and IoT labs.
Initially we started in order to make our learners prepare for the fourth industrial revolution, we decided to disrupt the education system in a way by spending if you look around, about 2 million rand worth of equipment, which we purchased: Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, drones, robots, VR sets, etc. for our students to use. We have a number of projects that we currently run where we use this equipment to train not only our learners within our mainstream program, our diplomas and our degrees, but also we need to take IoT to the kids. They are our future. In 2030, more than 60% of all jobs are going to change, and we need to reskill our learners. So we started a number of different projects, the first one being the IoT Schools Boot Camp, where we invite a school every week to come and experience IoT with us, where they are required to work hands-on in creating projects and also using our robots, our drones. We actually take them downstairs to fly the drone, so they know, so they experience it. And the difference it makes to them is huge. As you can see with the kid behind you, what has happened. Okay? Then we also have, that's not going to be good enough because we need to also train our teachers. So we've created a 10-day program where IoT is being taught to the teachers. So they come in here on a Friday and a Saturday, and we go through a 10-day program with them. So they learn Python, programming Raspberry Pis in Python, and also to complete an IoT project.
And why do you train schools here as well?
Because education is being disrupted, one. Two, the way we teach is changing. The what we teach needs to change as well, because we've got to prepare them for basically the 4th Industrial Revolution, which is already here. The main effect of it we'll see by the year 2030, where Gartner has said that more than 60% of all jobs will be non-existent. So there's going to be millions and millions of job losses. But with that said, there's going to be also millions and millions of new jobs created, where we have to skill people for these new types of jobs. You heard of the thing that machines are taking over. Yes, they are taking over. But we still need that emotional intelligence which machines do not have. So there will be, learners will require, or the job seeker is going to require a complete new skill set. So that's what we are trying to do. Introduce the kids, introduce the teachers, introduce our duty students to this new concept of learning, this new concept of how things are going to be done and how technology is going to help them achieve what they are trying to do. Whether it's the disabled, whether it's the sick, whether it's our homes, where we are talking about smart homes, where we're talking about smart agriculture, smart cities. Resources are being used up. We need to conserve our resources. One of the ways of conserving our resources is using technology. Why water your plant every day? Let the plant tell you when it needs to be watered. Technology can help you accomplish that. Okay? Why put on your swimming pool pump, or why put on your light every day at 5 o'clock and switch it off at 7 o'clock at night, or whatever the case may be? Why our street lights on the entire night? We don't need that. There's nobody on the road. Okay? Put in sensors, put in IoT equipment. Those lights will only come on if somebody walks past or a vehicle makes past, saving on resources again.
Maybe if you can tell us about the purpose of VR technology, drones and other equipment that you keep here as well.
The idea is we need to take this forward. This room will be changing within the next few months. This is going to become a VR teaching lab, where every learner is going to get a headset and it will be immersive teaching. That means they feel they are in the situation. So it encourages learning, encourages faster learning. With that comes innovation, where we need to take this also as DUT to the next level. We need to create our own VR content. We need to create subject material that students will be able to access from anywhere in the world, whether it's their smartphone or whether it's over their laptop or their desktop, so that teaching becomes fun. As teaching becomes fun, you would find that the degrees and diplomas are not going to be enough in the next few years, because the jobs are going to come up and they're going to need immediate personnel to fill that. So it's going to be like a skills to jobs type of thing.
You mentioned degrees and diplomas not being enough in the future, but will they be relevant in the future though? Because you get a lot of programs that teach some of what you teach without offering degrees.
A degree and a diploma gives you a little bit of everything, that's firstly. But as we say, we are changing our syllabus, our way of teaching, our content on a yearly basis to take care of or to administer the new technologies that come in.
And how do you identify the schools that participate here?
Generally, we've just sent out invites initially, and it went by word of mouth. So this teacher told that teacher, and so they contact me, they make appointments with me, and we give them which days we have available, and then they are invited to come over.
Do you ever worry about the sustainability of the program once they've come here for training and they've left and gone back to their schools?
Yes, we do a little, but we also got other backup plans in place. For example, the teacher training. When the teachers leave here, every teacher is given 3 IoT Raspberry Pi kits to take back to the schools. Okay, so they can use those kits then to train their learners.
And for you personally, why do you do this?
Oh, I enjoy it. It's fun to play with all these toys, to see these kids grow. Yeah? And we have a kind of a mentorship program that I'm running currently, where I've trained the BTech students. The BTech students' job is to train my first year students, and their job is to train the school kids that come here. Yeah? And the problem is, I know you're going to ask me somewhere along the line, is that this seems to be an urban project at the moment. How do we take it? That's the next step. How do we take it now to semi-rural and deep rural? Okay? So we're just doing a proposal at the moment. We want to create an IoT bus. So we will take the bus now. It's difficult for us to bring those kids to the university because of distance and logistics, etc. So we want to take IoT to them. So by creating this bus, we will go on a road show. We will take it to the school, especially for rural and deep rural or semi-rural areas, so that they are exposed. Our innovation, our entrepreneurship needs to come from those guys. There are a lot of issues out there that IoT can solve.
My name is Sisanda, and my favorite piece of technology is my phone. In fact, I need a diet to get away from my phone because I use it for everything. My work, entertainment, my kids play on it. I use it all the time.
What recourse do these individuals or entities have against the public protector?
Desiree, the question is how was this information acquired? Who leaked it? But I guess that those people should have legal recourse.
We are quite worried about the contempt violation of the public protector provision. If information is just leaked in this form, that further erodes the integrity of that particular office.
How easy or difficult is it to get rid of a public protector?
It's very difficult to get rid of the public protector. The very nature of her job is such that she needs to have tenure security in order to discharge her functions without fear or favor.
Do you feel that this conversation is taking the country forward?
It is, because the public protector is not doing anything wrong.
Welcome back. Don't forget to send us your tweets on SABC Network, and you can also send us Facebook messages and Instagram as well. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the tech space.
A graduate from London's Royal College of Art has created a music mixing tool which allows people to go inside the mixing desk using virtual reality.
Volta is a spatial audio production platform that you use in virtual reality. And so what that means is that you can, in this environment, this virtual environment, you can reach out and grab different stems or sound objects and physically move them in space around you. And if you grab the drums, then and you move it to the right, it'll sound like it's to the right. If you move it above you, it'll sound like it's above you. And effectively, you can build a whole track. You could build an orchestra around you.
Volta is still in development and is being piloted with music artist Kane foresees it being available to the public in a year's time, when he also expects it to work on augmented reality glasses. and now in China. Humanoid robots have stolen limelight with their incredible dexterity and innovation at the ongoing 2019 World Robot Conference.
The robot's hands are equipped with many sensors. There is a 6-axis force sensor in the wrist to feel 6 directions of force and 4 amplitude sensors installed in every finger to measure intensity.
Featuring the latest technological research, bionic robots, special robots and industrial robots, the exhibition is a glimpse into the quickly evolving future. And now in Russia. Yandex, a Russian equivalent to Google, has said it is considering expanding its fleet of self-driving cars to up to 1,000 within the next 2 years in order to speed up tests on the fledgling technology.
We, the team at Yandex, are developing a driver, a robot driver. This project kicked off in the beginning of 2017 and it comprises 2 major components. The first one is so-called hardware, the sensors and computers installed in a car. And the second one, that is the algorithms. The algorithms make decisions on how a car should behave on the road, basing on the data gathered by its sensors.
Yandex, with over 30 offices globally, has been listed on the Nasdaq since 2011. Its services include food delivery and a ride-sharing business with Uber in Russia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia and Kazakhstan, among other countries.
Facebook has announced that they've teamed up with Africa Check to include African languages as part of their fake news verification process. Some of the languages used include isiZulu, Setswana, Wolof and Kiswahili. Our Twitter poll is asking you if you think this is a good idea. 49% of respondents say yes, that figure is in the vast majority. There's 12% who say no. 7% of you say you don't know. That figure is in last place. There's also 32% of you who say you just don't care about this. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. That's it. That's all we have for you this week. Thank you very much for being a part of our network. From me and the rest of the team, have a good one. Bye-bye.